This is National Native News. I'm Antonia Gonzalez. A bill introduced in Congress aims to improve water access and quality for tribes. KLCC's Brian Bull has more.
The Western Tribal Water Infrastructure Act would authorize the EPA to fund 10 water improvement projects per year for tribes in the Columbia River Basin and adjacent basins. It also increased annual funding for the Indian Reservation Drinking Water Program from $20 million to $30 million a year. Rob Green is an attorney with the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde.
Reservations are in rural areas. A lot of the water systems are not in good shape, and there hasn't been the kind of investment that there should have been in making sure that people have safe drinking water, that there's water for fire support. The Indian Health Service said that Native people are 9 times more likely to lack access to safe water than the rest of the population.
The Senate Committee on Indian Affairs has recently held a hearing on the legislation. For National Native News, I'm Brian Bull.
The Indian Health Service director was questioned by the U.S. Senate Committee on Indian Affairs Wednesday about substandard personal protective equipment purchased by the federal agency and distributed to hospitals in New Mexico and Arizona. KN95 masks, which did not meet federal standards, were sold to the IHS for $3 million from a company by Zach Fuentes, a former Trump administration staff member. New Mexico Senator Tom Udall told the IHS director, Rear Admiral Michael Wiacki, he's deeply troubled about the masks supplied to the Navajo Nation amid COVID-19. Wiacki told the committee the masks are in storage and the situation is procurement sensitive as they work with attorneys and the vendor on resolving the matter.
We used federal acquisition regulation requirements and the flexibilities that have been provided to us by the CARES Act. We identified and looked at 7 different vendors for that particular procurement. He had the best pricing and the delivery options available at the time. But since you've identified the needs that persist, and they do, we do need masks, and not only in Navajo but throughout the country. We are looking at other vendors to help meet that need.
Udall says he still expects a thorough response from the IHS, which he says lawmakers have been seeking answers from since May. Wiacki was a witness at a hearing on the response to COVID-19 in Native communities. An anti-Trump rally is planned Friday in the tourist town of Keystone, South Dakota, as President Trump is scheduled to attend a celebration at Mount Rushmore. Native organizers plan to protest the arrival of Trump, saying the visit is on stolen sacred land. Tribal leaders in South Dakota are among those who say Mount Rushmore represents genocide. Cheyenne River Sioux Chairman Harold Frazier says to Lakota people, Mount Rushmore represents the faces of men who lied, cheated, and murdered innocent people whose only crime was living on the land they wanted to steal. In his daily community radio address Wednesday on KIPI, Frazier said he's not personally sending people to the protest, but commented on the importance of the area.
The Black Hills are sacred to our people, and through our creation stories, they determine and tell us why they're sacred, and it's a place where a lot of our people have gone throughout time to find their answers and make their prayers. So, anything different is a desecration to it.
Renewed calls have been raised over the removal of presidents carved into the Black Hills amid racial justice rallies across the country, which have included the toppling of statues and monuments of colonizers. I'm Antonia Gonzalez.
National Native News is produced by Koahnic Broadcast Corporation with funding by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Support by PrairieEdge.com, where you can find a full selection of Pendleton products, traditional ledger art, beadwork, and quill work, as well as a complete line of Native books, music, and movies in Rapid City or online at PrairieEdge.com. Wopila.
Support by Ramona Farms, offering wholesome and delicious foods from our heirloom crops as our contribution to a better diet for the benefit of all people. We are honored to share our centuries-old farming and culinary traditions online at ramonafarms.com.
Native Voice One, the Native American Radio Network.